Today is the end of Lent officially, before we start the beginning of the Triduum, Holy Thursday and Good Friday and Easter Vigil. It is called today Spy Wednesday. When Judas kisses Jesus, the kiss of betrayal, we recall the words of Fulton Sheen about Judas. There must be an interior failure before there can be an outward one. Today we are going to look at a Psalm 69, the kiss of Judas. What's in a kiss? You remember in the movie Spider-Man, Mary Jane asked Spider-Man to kiss her because she wanted to know what was in a kiss. Was there love there still? Now, Psalm 69 is about seeking or spying. Look at verse number 33 and notice also, coincidentally, Jesus died at the age of 33. It says, "Seek, you lowly ones, and be glad. You who seek God, take heart." There's a difference in the word see in Hebrew, ra'u, which means to see, but it also can mean to spy. And at the very end of that verse here is the word durashe, which means to seek with care. An enemy may ra'u, spy, a person who secretly collects and reports information on activities or movements or plans of an enemy or a competitor. But doreshe means to seek with care. Notice in the Passion narrative, when Judas gets a band of soldiers and guards from the chief priests and the Pharisees and went there with lanterns and torches and weapons and weapons, Jesus, knowing everything that was going to happen to him, went out and said to them, and said to Judas, "Whom are you seeking?" They answered him, "Jesus the Nazarene." He said to them, "I am." In John's Gospel, that means I am God. I am doing what only God can do. Take away this interior failure in you. I am the God. I can do what I do, what God does. I take away this inferior failure that can lead to an outer failure. And notice that the other disciples call him Lord during the Last Supper, except for Judas. They seem to recognize, even in their own failures, that the Lord is Lord. He is the one who can heal this interior failures. During this time of being isolated and social distancing and closed in, we can become closed in on ourselves, or we become closed in on one another. And we fail to see this Holy Week who is Lord. The Lord, in his passion, cross, can take away that inner failure so it doesn't become an outer failure. So he says to each at the Lord's Supper, surely, the disciples say after Jesus asked them who will betray them, so surely it is not I, Lord. The disciples still recognize him as Lord. And Judas says, the betrayer, surely it is not I, Rabbi. He does not recognize him as Lord, the one who can heal this inner failure. So, when Jesus sees Judas approaching him in the agony of the Garden of Gethsemane, he says, "Whom are you seeking?" He's inviting Judas to seek him with care rather than as a spy, so that he may find in him a friend, find in the Lord a friend. In Matthew's Gospel, Jesus says, or the gospel says his betrayer had arranged a sign with them, saying to the man I shall kiss is the one, arrest him. Immediately he went over to Jesus and said, Hail, Rabbi. Again, Rabbi, not Lord. And he kissed him. Jesus answered him, Friend, do what you have come for. Again, Jesus is inviting him to find him as a friend, and Lord as a friend who wants to take away this interior failure. Do you have friends like that? Or do we have friends that just encourage us to continue to remain in that interior failure? Whatever sin or rejection, self-rejection that may be. So, we come then to Fulton Sheen's word again. There must be an interior failure before there can be an outward one. We're invited in this psalm, we should say, as we read it as a family, to kiss him as a friend or a spy. To seek him as a friend, to let him transform that interior failure so it doesn't become an outer failure. Or to spy on him and let that interior failure become an outer failure. An outer failure to forgive, an outer failure which is to lose hope, to despair. An outer failure is to no longer trust. So read this psalm together. This kiss of Judas led to this passion, this discrimination against this disgrace and shame that Jesus must have felt. But in Psalm 69, verse 33, see, you lowly ones, and be glad. You who seek God, take heart. So again, seek him as a friend, to let him transform that interior failure so it doesn't become an outer failure. Or spy on him, like Judas, and let that interior failure become an outer failure. What will it be for us here at the end of Lent? Amen.